So it was all a big plan, 4 focus areas, yeah, I'll start with ingredients to build a personal brand. So the first thing that I did when it came to my personal brand was I needed to have a story. So my story is investment banker, 10 years, the whole story, and got into blogging. And it's a story that's, I think, quite a few people can associate with themselves with this story, can relate to that story. It's a story that's appealing, and it has to be a story that will bring people back to will get people interested in your blog and bring them back to your blog day after day, or maybe every other day, so it has to be a story. There has to be a story. There has to be a story about the brand. What does the brand stand for? What type of content is it about? So one thing that really helped was doing interviews. I did quite a lot of Twitter interviews. I did interviews on other blogs. I did video interviews, and always told the same story everywhere. So I discovered that consistency is key, and that story, once I had that story, it was just basically just telling the same story over and over and over again, slightly different forms, obviously, in case it starts to get boring. But that is basically what I learned: being consistent. The next thing about the brand was the look and feel of it, of the blog. How does the blog look like? The colors that I want to use. Just a general, when you open the blog, what does it look like? Is it cluttered with all sorts of banners and stuff, or does it have a nice, clean feel to it? These were things that I looked into as well. A profile picture, yeah, that was one thing I did very early on. I just chose a picture which I thought, hey, that's me. This is what I look like, and I just stuck with that picture, and I've used it everywhere. I put it on Gravatar, so every time I leave a comment on someone else's blog, my picture pops up. It's always the same picture on Twitter, Facebook, stumble upon all the social media platforms, always the same profile picture, so people can identify with me, and they look at that picture, hey, that's Keith from Velvet Escape. So that picture is just everywhere. It's taken at Iguazu Falls, by the way. And also one thing that helps to build your brand is the content that you publish on your blog. I think that's very important. It's very important to write about things that you're passionate about, which reflect your personality, because that will be part of your brand. If you're like ranting about something continuously, well, that's your brand. Or if you just love to talk about cruises, well, that's your brand. I like to talk about travel inspiration. That's my brand, which is very broad, I know, but it's a brand. It's my niche. And also another thing that helps to build a personal brand is just by talking to your readers, talking to your audience, talking to your colleagues, your blogger colleagues, and asking them, well, okay, one exercise I did was I created a guest post series called My Velvet Escape Travel Tip. And it was a bit of a branding exercise in the sense that I asked my colleagues to write a guest post for me. And the whole idea was I would ask them, what does the name Velvet Escape mean to you? What does it conjure? And how would you where would you go, or what would you do in your hometown to get that feeling of a velvet escape? So that made people think about my brand, and they would write. And the posts were just like, I would say, okay, Velvet Escape, Cumbria. So he wrote a beautiful post about the lakes and about visiting her Velvet Escape in the Lakes District. And so you get other people to think about your brand as well, and when you get people to think about your brand, that's valuable feedback to me, but it's also to them. They're thinking about your brand. If they're thinking about your brand, it's excellent. So the whole idea was that, okay, to create this brand, I had to be consistent and I had to be creative to try and get the word out. Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, one thing that, well, I talked about later, talked about previously, was I had to make some money. Okay, I've got the branding thing going on, I'm building my traffic, you know, I'm getting a lot of people to guest post for me, I'm getting my content all over the web, but how do I earn some money? And so I picked this out. I hope everyone can see it. If you can't, write it down. The source, I got it from ProBlogger, whom I use. It's a fantastic resource. ProBlogger.net/moneymap. So you can find this whole graph there. Well, there are so many ways. This map is called How Bloggers Make Money. This is what it's called. And there are so many ways that he's put together. You could, indirect methods like syndication. Some people want to use their blog as a platform to showcase their writing skills so they could start getting assignments from newspapers, magazines to write. Some people use their blog to, as a platform for affiliate marketing. Some people use their blogs obviously for advertising, selling text links, selling sponsored posts. And some people use their blog as a platform to promote their services. If they're doing consulting, speaking, coaching, freelance work. So there's so many ways that you can actually monetize your blog, but I had to decide for myself, okay, which are the ways that would interest me, which are the ways which I would be comfortable with. And I went for two areas, services and advertising. I'm selling text links, not a lot of them, because the almighty Google might catch you one day and there goes your page rank. But I do a lot of sponsored guest posts, so people, companies pay to publish content on my blog. So I get content and they pay for to have a link in there back to their blogs, which is fine. And there are services as well. Talking about like what I'm doing here right today. So talking about blogging, talking about social media, and so there's two main areas that I focused on. There are other areas as well which I tried out, like affiliate marketing. Didn't quite work out for me. Maybe some of you, it might work for you if you have great traffic numbers and all that. Affiliate marketing is basically, you know, getting a widget from, say, hotel.com, putting it up on your sidebar, and you get paid as soon as someone clicks on hotel.com or makes a booking from it, and you get a commission. I've tried various affiliate programs, and maybe it's my audience. My audience maybe do not like clicking on these links on widgets and stuff, but I don't feel that they've really worked for me. And I decided, well, instead of putting this widget of hotel.com on my sidebar and using up that valuable real estate, I could be selling a banner and getting a stable income every month. So I've gotten rid of most of these affiliate programs on my blog, and I just have ad banners.